Hello everybody, my name is Niku and welcome to the Trading Setup channel. Stop learning from pseudo gurus. Today I'm going to show you a simple strategy based off popular indicators that most of you use incorrectly. This is exactly why most beginners lose their deposits so quickly. Watch until the end and you'll have a clear plan. Where to wait, where to enter, understandable even for a beginner. Before we get to that, I've got a gift for you. I've created a free resource where I share extracts of my experience. From working setups, to trade results, to indicator settings that I use myself. Contact info is in the description, or you can scan the QR code on the screen. Now let's dive into today's video. Okay everybody, as always, we need to set up our platform for today's strategy before we can start trading. And we're going to do that now. First thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that our candle period is set to 1 minute. We're going to have expiry time of 3 minutes, but we are also going to do 1 minute trades today. We're going to alternate between the two, and I'll show you which ones we're going to take a bit longer, which ones we're going to take a little bit shorter. Next up, let's add our indicators. First indicator we're going to add is the Keltner channel. We're going to make some changes to this. We're going to make this multiplier 2. The rest we're going to leave as it is. Okay, so we can see that it's been changed a bit. Next up, we're going to add the ADX. Now the ADX, we're not going to change the settings, but I like my colors a little bit different. So I'm just changing the colors. This has no effect on your on the strategy itself. This just makes it easier for me to see the DI minus, which is downwards, which shows us downwards movement, being red, and the DI plus, which shows us upwards movement, being green, and then the ADX itself being yellow. So that's the indicators we're going to use. We're going to use this two ways. We're going to look for areas using both the Keltner channel and the ADX. We're going to look for areas where we don't have a lot of good examples actually on this. Let's go to another asset. Okay, so we're going to look for areas where the price gets outside of the Keltner channel, but we're going to look at the same time, we're going to look at the ADX and see if this was a beautiful trade. This is the kind of stuff we're looking for. We want the ADX itself very low, but we want a decent DI spike. So if its price is moving upwards, it will be a green spike. If price is moving downwards, it will be a red spike or a DI minus spike. This was a DI plus spike. So we're going to look for these. Once price gets outside of the Keltner channels, we're simply going to put this trade in reverse. So this would have been a sell for us there. We cannot take every candle that just simply moves outside the Keltner channel. But if we could have taken a sell trade here as well. Beautiful out, and we had this huge ADX, a DI plus spike, but the ADX itself was still relatively low. So we're going to look for that. This is an example of a trade we're not going to look we're not going to consider trading, because my ADX and my is fairly high, and the DI is basically the same value here as the ADX itself. This is something that shows me there's a lot of downwards strength in the movement. So trying to predict or trying to catch a reversal trade there is going to be very high risk. We're not going to do that. The second way we're going to use this is where the ADX is where we are in a downwards move and the ADX is climbing strongly. Like this example here, the ADX was climbing very strongly. This shows me, remember the ADX doesn't show direction, it shows the strength of the current move. So you can see here it's moving upwards and the ADX is climbing, and here it's moving downwards and the ADX is also climbing. So ADX shows the strength of the current move. It does not show direction at all. Direction comes from the DI plus and the DI minus. While the DI plus is dominant, the green line, we can see that we're in an upwards movement, and while the DI minus is dominant, we can see we are in a downwards movement, as is here. Now the DI plus and DI minus, you can think of them similar to a rate of change. It's not quite that, but it is very similar. So it shows us how quickly price is changing in a certain period. So this is the movement that we see. The idea behind this is that the reason I like the ADX so much is that it shows me not only strong moves, but it also shows me weak moves that are likely to reverse if there is a reason for those to reverse. quite often you will see a spike like this on a support line, or on a support area, or just below is a resistance area, or in a channel of a price trend. You will see these types of spikes happening. That's when I like to take reversal trades, but there must be a reason. I don't just take a reversal trade on a DI spike by itself. But the ADX shows us really nice information. And then Keltner Channels. Keltner Channel is a exponential moving average, and although it does look similar to the Bollinger Bands, the Bollinger Bands uses a simple moving average and a deviation of that moving average, whereas the Keltner Channels uses an exponential moving average, and they use the ATR of that exponential moving average, the average true range. Okay, so they kind of look the same, very different things. Okay, that's the way we're going to use this today. I don't think I explained the second one. So we're going to look for areas where the ADX is climbing really strongly. So where we have a decent move, let me just see if I can find one now that's kind of perfect. Okay, so here we had a downwards move here, and we can see that this ADX is climbing and climbing, showing me that there's increase in strength. In areas like this, we're going to look for rejections like this from the middle line of the Keltner channel. And once we get that, we're simply going to go with it trade in the direction of the current move. So that's the two ways that we're going to use the Keltner channel today. Now that we've got our platform all set up, we are ready to go looking for some trades. Okay, now that we're all set up, we're good to go. We're going to start hunting some trades, and we're just going to go flip through some assets and see if we can pick up something using the Keltner and the ADX. So we're just going to go through the list and see if there's something that's busy firing. This looks like an ideal trade setup here. Actually, we have the downwards move. We have the test of the Keltner channel at the moment. If this rejects, we can get into a sell trade here. We're going to have to wait for this candle to close. We have a very strong ADX here telling us that this downwards move is decent. Although the fact that this DI is falling now doesn't give me much hope. This looks like it's going to be pressing onwards. Let's just go to a different asset and see if we can find something that's setting up for us. This was a beautiful DI spike. It's a bit too late to get into this trade now, even if you're just going to go for 1 minute. That's a pity. This kind of looks like it wants to be turned into a sell trade, same as it was here, but the fact that we've got all these green candles in between, I don't trust that. That's definitely not a clean rejection. Struggling to find entries. No rejections form, so no continuation trend signals forming. Again, a bit too late to take this trade now. This actually looks like a decent rejection. I'm definitely going to go with this. I'll just make it a 2-minute sell on the close of the candle. There we go. And we'll see what happens. This does look like a decent rejection of the Keltner channel here. Even though I did look at this earlier and I said I didn't trust the green candles, but we'll see how it goes. That was before we had this beautiful red candle coming back down all the way. That's a lovely rejection. And we have our ADX fairly high. Although it's starting to decline now, it's still fairly high, showing us that there is strength in this downwards move. Almost halfway through this trade. Less than a minute left. Let's see what happens. At the rate it's going now, I do suspect we're going to see it hit this area here though. Even if it does want to turn up, it should come and hit this area first. Or maybe just push a little bit past, probably forming some divergence on the stochastic or the RSI or something. That's also a likely scenario. That's a good rejection of the Keltner middle line. Very decent trade. Couple of seconds left and we'll be done. There we go. Let's see if we can pick up another one. We'll start at the top of the list again. I would like if we get an example of the other entry as well while we're doing this. I really hope we do get a decent DI spike that we can take a trade on that as well. But we take what the market gives us. Entries of you at the moment. You need to keep in mind as well, this will happen with any strategy. Doesn't matter what strategy you're using, you are going to have periods where you are not getting entries, and you're going to have periods where you get plenty of entries. Usually during the periods where there's lots of entries, people don't run into issues. It's when it's during the period where there are few entries that people start struggling. Because usually people will think they're doing something wrong because they're not getting entries. They either think they're doing something wrong and they start to look for things that's not there, or they start messing with their strategy, think it's broken or something, and they start changing their strategy until they get it to give them a bunch of entries, and then a short while later the same is going to happen and they start changing again, and a short while later the same happens. This looks like a DI spike trade here. I'm going to go with the sell here. So they keep changing and then get entries, and then the entries dry up for a bit, and they just keep changing and changing, and you go into a cycle where that never ends, and you are forever changing on your to your strategy, and you're going to get to a point where you don't even recognize the strategy that you've originally started with. When you're not getting a lot of entries from your strategy, either wait in front of the charts, just sit and be patient. If you are not able to exercise the self-control not to start taking random trades, get up and go for a walk, go do something else, and then come back a little bit later. It's simple as that. Don't take unnecessary risks. But there are going to be times, doesn't matter what strategy you are using, there are going to be times when you're getting plenty of entries, and there's going to be times when you're not getting so much. So just know that it's going to happen, and when it does happen, you're not doing something wrong. You're doing something right. In fact, if you're not getting entries and you're not taking trades, you're actually doing something right. That means your strategy is having a slow day or a slow period in time, which does happen for every strategy. And you're doing something right by not taking random trades and not taking unnecessary risks. Stay within your strategy. We've got 20 seconds left on this. Good trade. Okay, so we had an example of both reversal and continuation trades during this with these two trades now, which is great. So that's the two different ways we can use the Keltner channel. It's very effective if you combine it with the ADX. Just keep in mind that you do need to keep an eye on the DI spikes. Like this was a beautiful spike here. We had the strong upward move. This is not a DI spike per se, although the start was good. Let's see if we can. Just because the DI is high doesn't mean that's a proper spike. You want a decent DI spike and you want a low ADX, and that's where you're going to look for reversal trades. And then kind of like the opposite, that's on the outer bands. On the middle band, you kind of want the opposite on the ADX. You want a high ADX, telling you there's a lot of strength behind the current move, and then we can play the rejections of the Keltner middle line like we did in the first trade. Hope this makes sense, and I hope you guys understand at least two ways now that we can use the Keltner channel combined with the ADX. Today's trading has shown that the strategy works perfect in any market. That's exactly why these trades were conscious, not random. I'm sure that once you learn to read these setups, you will avoid many mistakes that new traders make. It's important to remember not to guess, but to trust the system. And if you want more of these breakdowns and in-depth explanations, I invite you to my private group. There, we discuss the market in detail, discuss strategies, and practice with real trades. Links in the description. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I hope I see you guys in the group, and until then, may the pips be with you.